A bipartisan group of US senators introduced a new bill that looked to address the situation lived by more than 11 million undocumented migrants in the United States. Nonetheless, this bill has yet to be approved by Congress. Our correspondent Priscilla Huff talked to some of the voters who confirmed that the immigration reform is what has motivated them to participate this 4th of November.
Campaigners have spoken out, demonstrated, and even been arrested in their attempts to convince the U.S. Congress that America's immigration laws must be reformed and updated. Now, the lack of reform is motivating voters.
I'll be really looking carefully for whom I'm going to deposit my vote, because immigration reform is something that affects our Latino community, affects directly myself, and I'll be looking carefully for whom I'm going to vote in terms of the immigration reform. What candidate is really going to compromise and to finalize this process?
Some have participated in voter education events to learn from their elected officials about what they can do.
But the most important issue, along with jobs in the economy, is immigration and the DREAM Act and DACA. And the fact is that 56% of all Latinos in Virginia know someone who's undocumented.
Are coming together on a common-sense immigration reform proposal.
2 years ago, a bipartisan group of U.S. senators proposed legislation to address the reality that as many as 11 million people are living in the United States without proper paperwork.
I think immigration is widely seen by Latinos as an issue that's very specific to their community, something that they take personally, and when people are insulting about talking about immigration or talking about immigrants, the way often politicians have been in this country, they take it personally, and I think it's a very important part of what's on the minds of Latinos as they go to the polls this November.
In the intervening 2 years, as lawmakers mulled amendments to the proposed legislation to immigration reform, the community held a wide variety of events to keep the issue in the news, including a hunger strike.
We definitely think we're at a point where immigration reform cannot be ignored. I mean, the community wants it. There's a huge, broad coalition, even outside of the Hispanic community. Business owners, the religious groups are all coming together. The tech industry is coming together and saying that there is a need for this immigration reform. So I don't think it's possible for the White House or Congress to ignore.
And that's exactly why many think Hispanic voters are energized to have their voices heard, especially on the failure to address immigration reform.
You've seen that in the past when issues that are important to the community don't get addressed, rather than not turn out, the Latino community has actually turned out in stronger numbers precisely because they didn't get what they wanted and they want to send a message.
Some Hispanic voters feel their concerns over immigration reform are being ignored by the White House.
The president is the leader of the country. We expect him to give more emphasis on trying to create that coalition, that bipartisan support that's needed to get to the reform that the community needs, which is one that's actually based in law.
Latino voters want to send a message this election season. They are frustrated that immigration reform has not passed. It's an issue they take personally, and they want candidates to know failure to address immigration reform could hurt them now and could hurt them in the upcoming 2016 national election, which includes the run for the White House. Priscilla Huff for Telesur, Washington.